welcome to the Leaderboard. I'm Meg Turney, and joining me, as always, is the Daily Dot's Jared Wynne.
That's me.
That's you.
Yeah.
Great job.
I'm here.
So first, we're going to talk about Capcom's Pro Tour for Street Fighter IV, which will be offering $500,000 in prizes this year, and has officially gotten underway this month with the first premier event of the season taking place at Atlanta's final round. The event was won by former EVO champion Cheyenne, who beat reigning Capcom Cup champion Momochi in the final. Let's talk about it.
Yeah, Jian played very well. There's a lot of money coming into Street Fighter now, and it's really changing things. The level of professionalism is going up. People are putting in more hours, as you would expect, because suddenly we have $500,000 on the line. You're going to put a few more hours into the game than you did previously. I think Jian is a player who kind of represents what we're going to see a lot more of, and that's people who have more characters at their disposal. They're going to have a wider variety of characters to choose from. In the past, we see a lot of character specialists. Snake Eyes is a good example of that. He finished in the top 8 at the final round. He's a Zangief player, maybe the best Zangief player in the world. Zangief is a very unique character, a grappler, and yet here we have Snake Eyes playing another character, Evil Ryu, a Shoto character, very different from Zangief, and having success with him, beating Bonchan, one of the best players coming out of Japan, knocking him out of the tournament with Evil Ryu. So I think we're seeing here the change that's come with the money coming into Street Fighter and fighting games in general, and also just the number of great players at the event. I mean, this is something you see more at EVO, where you have like a top 32, even a top 64, just full of great names. You have great players being knocked out way before top 8. That's an EVO thing, and now it's going to be a thing at every major tournament, I think. So really cool to see this. If you're a fan of fighting games or Street Fighter, you got to tune in to these big events because they've been made bigger than ever before. They've been made massive.
Yeah, I want to talk actually about EVO a little bit because Jamie Lee Curtis said that she's going to be there this year. Apparently, she's a big Street Fighter fan, and she loves to play Cammy. How amazing is that?
I think she has a kid.
Yeah, who's going.
Who's involved. Yeah, so, you know, if you've got Jamie Lee Curtis going to EVO.
What? Like, that's so weird. It's just two worlds combined.
It's not even the biggest event of the year, Meg. That's the Capcom Cup, which Momochi is the defending champion of, and he played quite well here as well. Just some high-level Street Fighter play, as high levels we've ever seen, really, and we're going to see only a higher level to come. I also saw that we have a mix of results from different parts of the world, like we had the top few players from Asia, but other than that, you had like Arturo doing very well, an American player, Snake, as I mentioned, doing very well, Daigo Infiltration, big names getting knocked out much earlier than the top 8, just because the level of competition is so high here. So very exciting to see. Very excited to see this going forward, to see who's going to come out on top later in the season.
Yay! Who do you like in Street Fighter?
You mean like in terms of the players or the characters?
The characters.
I'm kind of it depends on the game. I'm an Okin main for 2. And I'm an Elena main for 3, as you would expect, most likely.
You know what? I'm gonna lose a lot of non-fans here. I love Chun-Li. I'll kick you into a corner, and I will win the cheapest way possible.
That's cool. It depends on which game you're playing. If you're playing Chun like Third Strike, then we have a problem. If you're playing Chun like ST, then we're okay. You know,
we're
cool.
friends. I think it's because I grew up with 2 older brothers, so I never got a chance to really learn how to play. So it was just like, go for the cheapest win possible. Mortal Kombat, Street Fighter, cheapest win possible. And it never works for me, but I always try it.
Just jump and kick and then sweep after you land.
Jump and kick and try and get somebody in a corner.
Yeah, and then what do you do them in the corner?
Keep kicking until they get the little birdies, the little stars, and then I'm like, oh yeah,
Advanced
now I got
tactics
you.
and strategies. From Meg Turney.
All right, switching over to League of Legends, of course. The final week of the spring split is now upon us. The standings in both North America and Europe, to some extent, have kind of already been sorted out. What do we look out for in the last week before playoffs?
What we look out for is Cloud9 and CLG battling, and Team Impulse battling for a bye in the North American playoffs. They have a big thing there. Cloud9 struggling quite a bit, at least it seems like it. IEM World Championship, they played very poorly, and yet here they are, potentially getting a bye in the first round. Team Impulse kind of sneaking up on people, having a very good second half of the split, getting in there into the first round bye picture, if you will. Picture, not picture.
Well,
that
I wasn't going to call you on it.
After having some struggles with Piglet coming in and out of the lineup, and how could you not? Because, you know, that's the struggle right there. Maybe they'd be in the picture more solidly if they had stuck to their substitute player, not just gone with Piglet in spite of his struggles. Or maybe it's going to pay off in the long run. They're going to have Piglet come in and just dominate last week, and they're going to the playoffs with him, and it's going to be great. It's going to be fantastic. Who knows? I don't know. We're going to find out this week. It's very exciting to see that, right? Aren't you excited to see that?
Very excited.
And in Europe,
there was a lot of controversy with Piglet recently, yeah? With him being benched and...
There was some controversy. There's some questions over whether or not he's the best option immediately. And he has not been the best immediate option, but for the team, it's a long-term investment. You bring in the Korean player who has a good background of play. Of course, now you have GE Tigers getting rolled over by World Elite, and you have CJ Intis losing to TSM. Maybe you don't need to go for the Korean players. Maybe you need to look elsewhere for the best talent. Maybe you need to look wherever the best talent is. Of course, Piglet is a proven talent, like a world championship talent in the past, so that's probably a pretty good resume that he has there.
Right.
Over in Europe,
Yes.
Elements maybe not going to make the playoffs. Rocat maybe not going to make the playoffs. Copenhagen Wolves trying to hold on to their spot. Seeing H2K and Fnatic battle it out for a bye in the first round. So lots of good storylines heading in to this final week of play.
I bet we'll talk about it next week too, huh?
Well, for this split, the final week, not the final week of play ever.
Right. Of all time.
There will be League of Legends play after this
The
week.
game is done.
It's not quite
You heard
finished.
it here first.
Yes.
Alrighty. We also talked about the new patch and how that's affected the game. You want to talk about that a little bit?
We didn't talk about that, did we?
I mean, we've talked about it
We can talk about it
previously.
now. Yeah, we can talk about it. It's actually a really good patch.
Yeah.
It's a fantastic patch. I love this patch. Among patches, one of my favorite patches.
Great.
It is. It's really broadened the jungle spectrum, Meg, if you will. You can use a lot more different types of champions in the jungle, which gives you more variety for champions in other lanes. Because if you have AD or AP or a tank or assassin in the jungle, you can then switch those roles up in the top lane or the mid lane. So that's why you see characters like Urgot coming out, or you see Cho'Gath being played mid, because the jungle variety has given birth to variety in the top and in the mid. That's how it works. You make variety in one place on the map, you get variety in other places because it changes up where you have your different utility roles on the team. So that's a great thing, and a good thing especially because they really screwed up the jungle earlier in the season. They made it very specific with the champions that could be played there. So to now broaden it actually achieves the goal they promised when the jungle was redesigned long ago, well, somewhat long ago, to make it more variety-ish. To bring more variety to it, you could say,
Right, sure.
as opposed to what I said.
Well, speaking of Urgot, actually, Cole, our director, was talking about it earlier today, and how exciting it was to see him come back a little bit. People kind of forget about him.
It was exciting, and it was especially exciting because he had a bit of a rough start. I believe he went 0-3, Urgot did, when he first came in, and then recovered for a big surge later in the game, which was very exciting. I guess Bjergsen doesn't really have a lot of Zed versus Urgot experience in the mid lane, which is understandable. But now you got to train up on all your different matchups because the character pool, the champion pool, suddenly expanded with the changes that came with the latest patch, which is another good thing I mentioned. So yeah, you got to train up. Bjergsen got to play that Urgot matchup a little more often.
Gotta get on that
Got to get on that Urgot.
All right, moving on to Twitch, which as it continues to grow as a streaming platform and a potential source of revenue for streamers, some people do try and take an unfair advantage in the practice of viewbotting. Viewbotting involves filling one's channel with fake viewers to make it seem more popular and entice more real viewers to visit. Now, one of the most popular streamers of StarCraft 2, Evan Winter Balnick, has been accused of viewbotting. So let's kind of talk about, first of all, what this is, why people do it, and what happened here.
Yeah, the point of doing it is to become more popular on Twitch. Now, Twitch ranks channels by popularity. That's one of the best ways to see top channels or top channels in a certain game. When you browse by games, when you browse channels generally, you see them ranked by popularity by default. So if you have more viewers in your channel, you'll be higher up in the rankings, you're more visible to a potential audience. So it makes sense. You want a viewbot to fill your channel with artificial viewers so you can rise up the rankings and be more visible and get more viewers that way. We good on that?
Yes.
Excellent. So we have someone like this who, in theory, viewbots his own channel so that he can rise up those rankings and be looked at as the most popular streamer in StarCraft 2, for example, or even a pretty popular streamer overall to get more viewers, more actual viewers that way, who then might contribute to him by watching his ads or subscribing to his channel, paying him money one way or the other, or just making him seem more popular overall. So that's unfortunate because you want to have organic popularity rank the streams on Twitch. You want to have the streamers who actually earn their popularity and earn their viewers be ranked higher. That's how it should work. It's difficult for Twitch, though, because if you were to, for example, ban someone for viewbotting, you could then maliciously viewbot someone and get them banned. Because who's really to say where the viewbots came from? Now, it seems pretty obvious in a case like this, where someone has repeatedly had viewbots going on and hasn't really made a big deal of it before. I mean, he's mentioned it before, like in an interview, I think in an AMA on Reddit, like Ask Me Anything on Reddit. But really, I mean, it seems pretty obvious here that he's been viewbotting his own channel to get more viewers. Team Liquid actually banned his channel from their listings, their StarCraft channel listings, because they said, it's obvious, no matter what the intention was, no matter who did this, that there was viewbotting going on, and we can't have that being, like, disrupt our channel listings and the popular streamer listings. So, yeah, I mean, action's already been taken against him, against his channel. He's still streaming, he's still going for it, just with far fewer viewers. Rather than having like 3K on a given night, he'll have like 800 or 1K, which is still a decent number. Like people still make a good living actually with that many viewers on a nightly basis. So it's kind of silly that he kind of took this big PR hit for himself and put himself in this position. Of course, would he be able to make that kind of living if he never used viewbots in the first place?
Right.
That's its own question. But really, this is a broader topic about what Twitch can do about viewbots and how it's going to affect them going forward. And just the fact that streaming becomes a more viable career choice, you're going to have more things like this pop up. People try to manipulate the structure of Twitch and get their channel artificial popularity, like this guy seems to have done.
So has Twitch commented at all about what they plan to do? I mean, can't they just ban accounts that are viewbot accounts?
They can, but again, you mean like the bots themselves?
Right.
Yeah, it can be difficult to find those because if you look at some of them, they're not just like random letters strung together and then nothing on the content. Like they'll have a profile picture and a fake biography. The services that provide viewbotting often do so in a pretty, nice manner. Like you get what you pay for, right? So if you pay some money out, you're going to get some decent viewbots, some realistic ones, I guess you could say. AI is just very advanced these days, Meg. Some actual robots in your channel.
So let's talk more about Twitch, actually, because yesterday they sent out a big notice to all of their users that they had been hacked, that the people's account information had been compromised. What the fuck? Like, what the hell?
It's kind of bad. What the fuck? I know. That's probably what they were saying in their headquarters whenever they saw this stuff happening.
It just seemed very like, hey, by the way, account information. Like, that was not, like, there was nothing else. It was like, hey, change your password maybe. But it didn't really say, like, if you were hacked, if you were not hacked.
Yeah, they don't always give the most detail. Just like they didn't give the most detail about the viewbotting stuff. They kind of handle things internally, and it's just another situation where it's hard for them to give a lot of clarity, maybe. They don't really know what's going on.
Like a Valve situation where they don't want to say so that people don't know how to get around it?
Or maybe if they don't say what's going on because they don't know what's going on, we just assume they know more than they actually know.
That's true.
It's not about what you know, it's about what they know you know.
That's very true. I do know.
You know what I mean when I'm saying that?
I do know.
Yeah, so Twitch is going to run into a variety of challenges as they become bigger, and they're already pretty big as it is. They also had an issue where they have the new laws about what you can broadcast in terms of bodies being shown.
Oh, yeah.
And then they have some music videos because they've opened up the service to music now. So you have music videos with people in swimsuits and bikinis and trunks and stuff like that. But that's against terms of service now, right? You can't have someone with their shirt off, so you can't have a music video. So it's kind of a weird thing they're getting into. The territory they're encroaching on is bringing up some hypocrisy in their rules and things like this happening. It's all new ground.
Thanks for joining us on the leaderboard. Don't forget, we'll be here next week. Thank you as always to my guest, Wynne from the Daily Dot, and we'll see you guys next time.
Oh, you're a guest.